It's really a wonderful gesture that you have reached out to him. A little about Arun. Arun, of course, you all know, is the son of Pandit Prakash Gossai, and he is actually he is attempting to wear the mantle of his dad, not so much to step into the shoes, but to carry on his spiritual work. He has he left for India about 3 years ago, and he enrolled himself in the Chinmaya Mission School for Vedant Philosophy, the Sandeep Sadhanalaya, where he studied Vedant Philosophy. There are six major schools of philosophy in India, and Vedant is supposed to be the epitome of the pinnacle of the six, I should say. So there he studied, first of all, Sanskrit for 2 years, and he studied the major Upanishads. I'm sure most of you have heard of the Upanishads. It's the philosophical discourse of the Vedas. He studied works by Adi Shankaracharya, one of the greatest philosophers of India. He's also studied the Ramayana. He studied the Bhagavad Gita for a year. So I think he has returned to us well equipped to carry on the works of his dad in his own unique way. So without further ado, I would like to invite Arunji to the microphone. Arunji.
Most respected Suresh Sukramji, most respected mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters, and distinguished guests. Today I want to say how happy I am to see all of you present here. Your presence here today at this particular event is indicative of the change that you want to see in your life, as well as the changes that you want to see in the lives around you. So I want all of you to give yourselves a round of applause. Very good. So upon the invitation here, I actually thought to myself, what does it mean to be rich in life? I see Pandit Ramlal here, Pandit Ramlal ji here, and he is a great example of a man who is not materially rich, but spiritually rich. And if at all we wanted to be successful in this life, my dear brothers and sisters, we must aim to be spiritually rich, spiritually wealthy, not necessarily being materially wealthy. You may ask the question, what is the difference? How does this help me? I need to be rich in life to be happy. This is the misconception all of us have, my dear brothers and sisters. Being materially rich grants you a large bank account. Isn't that true? Right? But it doesn't remove the sorrows and pains from your life. I'll give you a quick example. My mother worked in a law firm for the last 26 years, side by side with a lawyer who was wealthy. He had a huge house in upstate New York. He had everything going for him. He worked 22 out of 24 hours a day to gain a huge bank account. He must have worked for 40 years in that law firm, from age 22 to 62. He was going to retire early this year. The day before retirement came, guess what? He left this world right before retirement. So do you see, material wealth, my dear brothers and sisters, fine and dandy. It gets you places, it gets you things. But we must realize that there is something much more higher than wealth, than material wealth. Money, BMWs, huge bank accounts. There has to be something more. Something that makes us successful and fulfilled, not just successful. Because if we look at the life of the lawyer, he worked, but he did not enjoy a cent of that. As a matter of fact, He died the day before he can start enjoying. So I ask you the question here today, what is the point? The life you must live, my dear brothers and sisters, is a life that you can enjoy throughout, from age 0 to 100, as prescribed in our Hindu Shastra. There are 4 ashramas, 4 stages of human life. First is Brahmacharya ashrama. Second, right, Grihastha ashram. Third, Vanaprast. And fourth, Sannyas. So while in these ashramas, my dear brothers and sisters, how should we operate? What should we do? What are the formulas? What are the methodologies that will make us spiritually rich, not necessarily materially rich? See, wealth is guaranteed. All of us, we need a home to live in. In order to have a house, we need money, isn't that true? Money is the means to a successful, fulfilled life. It is not the goal of human life. We must realize that, and realize that well. Money is the means and not the goal. We've been given this human body, my dear friends, not to only eat, sleep, and procreate. As a matter of fact, if you look at the donkey that you have back home in Guyana, he does that. Isn't that true? He eats, he sleeps, procreates, goes to work. How is that donkey different from the life of a normal person that lives in New York City? He eats, he sleeps, he goes to work also. Yeah? And he makes children. Don't you see, my dear brothers and sisters, that we've been given a human body for a reason? The donkey has a mind just like us. But we have something that's very, very valuable and very, very different. Do you know what that is? It is called the intellect. Each creature has a body, has a mind. But the human being is blessed, my dear friends, with something called the intellect. To see right from wrong, to see where my life is going, to make the decisions that make me perennially happy in life, not just temporarily happy. Money and wealth, fine and dandy again. We work hard, we achieve it. But why are we still sad? Why are we still sorrowful? Why are some of the world's richest people committing suicide daily? Think about it, my dear friends. We must look carefully at the difference between being materially wealthy and spiritually wealthy. All of us live in America, one of the world's most developed countries. The reason we've come here is for happiness. Everyone, from the single cellular organism to the roof and crown of creation of mankind, wants to be happy. But it's up to you, my dear friends, how happy you want to be now for a better future later on. Not only for yourself, but for all around you. So the question is, how do we become spiritually a billionaire? Not a millionaire, right? Not a thousandaire, if that word exists, but a billionaire. How do we become so? Nowadays, we know how to be materially a billionaire, isn't that true? We go to school, we get a good job, and we become a billionaire in the span of 40 years. So we know the process. But does that guarantee us happiness? Does that guarantee us fulfillment? Does that guarantee us lifelong success? Answer the question. No. We must be spiritually rich, spiritually wealthy, spiritually strong. Because you know, this world is not a friendly place. The moment you step out of the precincts of this yard, out of this venue, the world is ready to attack. And my dear friends, it doesn't matter how huge your bank account is, if you are not spiritually strong, if your personality isn't well-rounded enough, if you are weak inside, guess what? You will fall victim to this world. It is the nature of things to cause sorrow, because they are temporary, my dear friends. Everything you see around you is temporary, including the human body, including that huge bank account you may have. Again, there's nothing wrong. Hinduism advocates being wealthy. Actually, one of the deities we pray to is Mahalakshmi. She is the goddess of material wealth and spiritual wealth, both. But the caution is, do not be a slave to your wealth. Use it as a means. Only the comfortable man can pray effectively. Only the comfortable man can make a difference in the lives of everyone he comes across. Do you agree with me?
Yeah.
A person who is agitated, a person who is downtrodden, a person who is sad, a person who doesn't have the means in life to survive, do you think he can be happy first of all? No. Do you think he can make a difference in the lives of the people around him? Not really, because he is not fulfilled himself. If you look at the great leaders of the past, for example, Swami Chinmaya Ji of the Chinmaya Mission, where I trained in India, Swami Tejamananda Ji, Swami Vivekananda Ji, and so on. We see that these people, even Mother Teresa, we see that they were fulfilled. They were the most happiest people inward. But the wealth outside wasn't much. But they had enough to move on, to survive in life. But their wealth inside, my dear friends, was full. The energy, the wealth of spirituality within them, their spiritual bank account was $100 billion. Okay? For lack of a better term. Their spiritual bank account was out of the roof. But they didn't have much. This shows you that you don't need much. You just need enough to make a difference. You just need enough to be happy. When that flame of happiness is kindled within you, then you can make the difference. Don't go out there trying to make $100 million an hour, because that will only bring you sorrow in the long run. Money comes, money goes, but your spiritual core will stay with you forever, will make you happy, will make you fulfilled for ages and ages to come. So what is the first step to becoming a spiritual billionaire? As I said before, we know how to be materially wealthy, okay? Everyone here knows how to be a material billionaire. I don't have to tell you. But today's talk is methods of becoming successful perennially by becoming a spiritual billionaire. How do we do so, you may ask? Well, the steps are many, but today we'll go over the main steps that will ensure your happiness, will ensure your peace of mind, will ensure your spiritual core to be developed in such a way that nothing will ever bother you ever again in this life. When you could have reached the stage of samma, dukkha, sukha, kshami, as Lord Krishna says in chapter 12, verse 13, when you could have had the vision of equality, when good times and bad times don't affect you anymore, when the challenges would have come and you will not have been depressed, when the happy times would have come and you will not have been elated, but you remained equanimous in all situations, not high and low, you would have been the spiritual billionaire. Lord Krishna said it in chapter 12, verse 13, that devotee who can be balanced in life attains his lotus feet one day, making him the richest ever as he becomes the state of Sthita Prajna, or the realized master. So what are the steps, my dear friends? First of all, we see that we must discover our swadharma. Can you say that word for me? Swadharma. Swadharma means that thing that makes me happy in my life. I want you to think for a minute. Do you know that all of us here were put here for a reason? Think about it very carefully. When a gardener plants a tree, don't you think that that gardener had a purpose for that tree? That tree gives shade, isn't that true? That tree will bear fruit one day, isn't that right? That tree will give back to society in some way, isn't that true? No gardener plants a tree just for the sake of planting. That's right. No gardener plants just for the sake of planting. There is a purpose behind all of his ideas. Now what makes you think that the universal creator, that power that we call God, is any different from that gardener? That creator, that God, that Lord who has created everything, had a purpose for each and every one of us. And that is called the Swadharma. Now when we operate by our Swadharma, that thing that makes us happy in life, for example, if I love to cook, and I am a good cook, if I can help the world through my cooking, that is my Swadharma. Because I'll be helping society in that way. If I am a good classical dancer, and I make the people around me happy by dancing, that is my Swadharma. I make the people around me happy because I am happy doing that. If I am a good singer, I play my harmonium and I sing and I delight the crowd. I make not only myself happy, but the world around me happy. Now when I could have figured out what is that one thing that I'm good at, and all of you have that, all of you know that one thing that you're good at. For example, I know a couple of good cooks in this audience right here. Yes, Auntie Dulari raises her hand. I know a couple of people who can sing well. I know a couple of people who can draw well. I know a couple of people who can speak well as also. I know a couple of people who are fluent in a language that no one else knows. This is a way to make community better. When you could have shared your talent and your capability, you would have made not only your life fulfilled, but the world around you fulfilled. It doesn't matter what type of job you have. For example, I was an accountant, okay? And I can tell you that an accounting job is not the world's funnest job. Actually, there are some nights where I came home very stressed out. But I knew that I had a passion for playing harmonium and playing tabla. So what do you think I used to do when I came home? I used to practice my tabla and harmonium. I used to sing. And then sometimes I was given the chance to go out in public and do a song or perform my tabla. So do you see how the stress of having that job was offset by my Swadharma? By that thing that made me happy in life? That thing that I was good at, that God brought me on the earth to do? If we can discover that one thing that we're good at, my dear brothers and sisters, you would have put at least 500,000 spiritual dollars into your account by doing that one thing alone. So what is the first rule of becoming a spiritual billionaire? Finding out that one thing, the Swadharma, that you are good at, and helping humanity through that one good thing. Do you see? Only the spiritually wealthy person, the person who is able to tap into that one thing that he's good at, can be happy. And when that man is happy, he radiates that peace to everyone you see. Great Mahatmas like Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King ji, Swami Vivekananda, Swami Chinmaya ji, all of them found that one thing they were good at, and they helped humanity through it. Dr. Suresh ji should be applauded. People like Pandit Ramlal ji should be applauded. People like my father, Shri Prakash Gossai ji, who went out there and helped humanity selflessly, not selfishly, selflessly. Go out there and help the world. They make not only a better situation for themselves, but a better situation for those that they love and care about. So the first rule is discover that one thing you're good at, work on it, and make the difference in everyone's life. That's one way of being spiritually wealthy. But you may say, even though I found that thing I'm good at, sometimes the people and situations around me are not in my favor. I like to speak, I like to help people, but the people around me are not supportive. Or the situation is bad around me. What can I do? I'm always stressed out as a result. My dear brothers and sisters, in our Vedic Shastra, it speaks of something called the Tapatraya, the three modes that we burn in this human birth. The three modes that make us discomfort, that makes us uncomfortable. What are they? Adi Bautik, Adi Daivik, and Adhyatmik. Adi Daivik means those forces of nature that we cannot control. Doesn't matter how happy we are. Sometimes the hurricane comes and destroys our life. Isn't that true? Adi Bautik, the situation and people around us will not be favorable. I may try to do my best in life. I may try to push forward, but someone is always pulling me down. Okay? Adhyatmik, and this is the part that makes us the most uncomfortable sometimes. That inner voice inside of me saying that you cannot do it. How many of you have experienced that? You try your best to do something. You try your best to make a difference in the life of people. You try your best to make good happen in your society, but something inside of you says, I can't. I'm too stressed out. This is called Adhyatmik Tapa. What do we have to do, my dear friends? We cannot let these three situations pull us down in life. The storms, the tornadoes may come, but it is up to you if you want to be happy in the face of it. Ultimately, the decision is up to you how happy you want to be, right? Even though the people and situations around you will not be positive. And we live in such an age today, my dear brothers and sisters, that no one will look after us as much as we want to be looked after. The situations may allow us to be pulled down, may cause us depression, but you must look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, do I really want these people and things to pull me down? Or do I really want to harness the energy that I have within me and push forward in the face of any negativity? Ultimately, my dear brothers and sisters, the choice is yours. Adhyatmik, look deep inside of your soul. Look deep inside of who you are and see the true hero that lies within you. All of us were created by a higher power. None of us here disbelieve that. This flower that's right there, it was designed by a designer, isn't that true? The Mona Lisa, who painted it? An artist painted it, isn't that true? Someone took their time and painted the Mona Lisa. What makes you think that there's no designer for that flower that sits over there? That sits so beautifully, that blooms at the right time, that does everything at the right time. They say you cannot force a flower to bloom, but when it blooms, it's the most beautiful thing. Who is the creator? Who is the designer of all of these wonderful things? Just like we've designed the homes, just like we've designed the softwares, just like we've designed the computers. Who created all of this? That designer, my dear friends, is within each and every one of us seated here today. And it is in and without every single thing that you see in this world. So tomorrow morning when you wake up, what should you do to ensure your spiritual strength, to make yourself a spiritual billionaire? Look yourself in the eye, deep in the eye, and say, you are greater than you think you are. Can you say that for me? You are greater than you think you are. Louder.
You are greater than you think you are.
Again.
You are greater than you are.
You must do this every morning, my dear brothers and sisters. And it's not something to build the ego. Don't get me wrong. It's something to remind yourself of who you are. Actually, when I think about this, I think about what happened to Hanumanji. The first chaupai of Sundarkan goes like this. Jambavant ke bachan sohai, suni Hanumanta hirde ati bhai. Even Hanumanji, the great Bhakt of Sri Ram, had to be reminded of who he was. Luckily, he had a great leader named Jambavant, who told him that he was Balavan, that he was Pavana Tane Bala Pavana Samana, that you are equal, just like your father. He said, you are the son of the wind. What makes you think that you are different? You came from him. As a matter of fact, you are him himself. Those were the words of Jambavant. And when he said that, Jambavant ke vachan sohai, suni Hanumanta hirde ati bhai. His heart became fulfilled. His heart became full. As a matter of fact, he was able to tackle any challenge at any time. because he knew his Lord was behind him. So do you see the power that lies within you? All of us have come from such a divine power. None of us sitting here today, none of us in the world today were a mistake. Everybody has a role to play. And when you could have discovered that Swadharma, your true nature, that is God and God Himself, essentially we are, you would have been spiritually wealthy. Nothing, no situation that is created by man can ever pull you down anymore. Instead, you will rise and rise above. Can you do that? Clap your hand if you can. Louder, louder. Correct. So what are the first 2 steps to becoming a spiritual billionaire, my dear brothers and sisters? First, we have to discover what our Swadharma is. It's about time we start getting to know ourselves. Don't get to know your neighbor. Don't get to know the person next to you. Get to know who you are first. When you would have known who you are, when you would have known your capabilities, your talents, your skills, you would have been effective in this world. Ready to make a difference to your neighbor. Ready to make a difference to your co-worker. Ready to make a difference to the people around you. So do you see how important it is to make a difference? But first, you have to get to know who you are. Okay? Then, third step of becoming a spiritual billionaire. We must realize that the past and the future do not exist. Think about it for a minute. The past is a span of time that happened some time ago. Isn't that true? Think about the people in your past that hurt you. Think about the people in the past that helped you. Think about the people and situations in the past that disturbed you. Do they exist here and now? No, I see all of you shaking your heads left and right. None of those experiences or people exist at this moment. That is true. Now think about your hopes. Think about your dreams. Think about your nightmares. Do any of those things exist now? That thing that you're fearful of in the future, does that exist at this current moment? No. The past does not exist and the future does not exist. Do you know what causes us the most stress in life? Can anybody tell me? Thinking about the past and thinking about the future. These 2 things, my dear friends, causes us to become wrinkled in life. As a matter of fact, if you want to speed up the aging process, live in the past. If you want to speed it up even more, live in the future. That'll actually make it go twice as fast. What you have to do, my dear friends, is live in something called the present. The young child who is at school and he is anxious that he's going to fail the test, he is only hurting his chances of succeeding. What should that child do to ensure his success in the class? Think about now. Think about a systematic plan to study hard and to take that exam tomorrow and pass it and become successful. Similarly, my dear friends, what do we do in the present? We either dwell in the past or dwell in the future. We don't look at the current challenge in the eye. Look at the current challenge in the eye, my dear friends. Don't hide away from the challenge. What do? We procrastinate. We say, nah, we're not going to do this today. We're going to do it tomorrow. My dear friends, do what you have to do today. All the great people in the world, they did what they had to do today. While their parents, while their companions were sleeping at night, they were upwards toiling through the night, developing themselves, developing the skills, looking the challenges in their face in an attempt to be better people of tomorrow. So no longer should you live in the past. No longer should you even entertain the thought of those people who hurt you in the past. Those people who did you wrong. The situations that went sour. Those situations don't exist. All that exists is you, here and now. And it's up to you if you want to make that change in your life. Don't be anxious of the future. If you do your best here and now, my dear friends, do you think the future can be bad? Answer me. The future cannot be bad if you do your best here and now. Because if you believe in that Creator, if you have faith in God and have faith in yourself, and you do your best now, you prepare wholeheartedly, guess what? The future is guaranteed for you. But if you sit back and you're lazy and you don't want to do anything with your life, guess what? How can there be a future for you? To the young people here, and many young people are here today, I'm very happy to see that. If you keep in the same company at school that are getting D's and F's in class, do you think that you can progress? As a matter of fact, you may try to help them, that's okay. But don't get swallowed in. Don't get sucked in by their attitude. Instead, you rise above them. You show them that you are the example of a person who is trying to succeed in life, and not an example of a person who has failed or wants to fail. Always strive for success, and the way you do so, my dear friends, is by being around the right people. And you know, if you have faith, the Lord always takes you into a situation that allows you to be around the right people at the right time. That Creator is constantly looking out for us, constantly protecting us, constantly showing us the path to happiness. And it's a matter of time, it's about time rather, that we respect Him and we follow His expectations. Just like our parents have expectations of us, my dear friends, that Lord, that Creator, has even greater expectations of us. We must do our best. Don't settle for mediocrity. If you're a good cook, you can be better. If you're a good singer, you can be better. If you are getting A's, get the A+. Always expand your mind, my dear friends. Read more, do more, and make yourself a better person always. Okay? So that's another way to be a spiritual billionaire. Do not dwell in the past, do not dwell in the future, because none of them exist. What exists? Can you say it for me? The here and now, the present. Okay? Next, my dear friends, what should we do to be a spiritual billionaire? This is the fourth and final step. You ready for this one? And it's the most important. Count your blessings. If it's something we don't do enough, my dear friends, is count our blessings. Too much are we dwelling on what is wrong in our life, but we don't look at the positives. As a matter of fact, I will give you an example that will